Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I know my videos have been mainly based on the boys and based on like vlogs and things like that, and that's just because that's my priority and that's the thing that I enjoy filming the most. However, I do know that a lot of you only subscribe to my channel or follow me on Instagram for tips on weight loss or things to do with Slimming World. Obviously I worked for them for a long time. It's actually 14 years. I got it wrong when I worked it out recently. So yeah, 14 years and a member for 20 years. So that knowledge is never going to go anywhere. I'm always going to still be passionate about helping people lose weight. So I thought, do you know what? It's about time that I did another video on this, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this video, because I also need this video. So this is going to be like a little bit like a role play for myself. So obviously I lost my 3 stone in 3 months, kept it off for nearly 20 years, up down a little bit, had twins since then, and then a couple of months ago, just through being busy, not through trying to lose weight, I did actually become smaller than before I was pregnant, and that's more just because I'm just rushing around a lot. I'm burning more calories because I'm not sitting still. But recently, and it's to do with weaning, now they're eating proper food as opposed to like purees and things like that, I'm eating more of their food and I've got in some bad habits. And I can feel the weight coming back on. So the other day I thought, right, do you know what, let's just face it and get weighed. So I got weighed and I was like in the 9 stone sort of 10 bracket, and now I'm back up to like in the 10 stone bracket, and it's not really a big deal, but I just don't feel as comfortable as I did previously. Food has to be the priority with regards to like weight loss and stuff now for me, because I just can't get to the gym as much. I haven't been at all this week. I've done nothing this week. So, you know, if I'm not eating well and I'm not exercising, then of course I'm going to start gaining weight. Now, I'm a different person now to how I was, you know, when I first started before. I'm not desperately trying to lose weight. It really doesn't bother me on a day-to-day basis. And I think, do you know what? A lot of that's down to age, a lot of it's down to being a mum, and a lot of it is down to social media. I think the kind of movement on body positivity, and a lot of the people that I follow on Instagram, they are happy to share their flaws, and they don't even see them as flaws, which I think is amazing. But I know myself well, and I know that if I start to not be able to fit into my clothes and things like that, then it will start to bother me a bit. So I just thought, you know what, I need to do something. They're a year old now, and I've been kind of in this like just floating around stage with it for a year. So now I just need to draw a line and get back to basics. So what I thought I would do is do this video, but almost kind of like answer the questions myself as I'm asking them, and I want you to do the same. So if you're struggling, these are my favourite sort of questions that I used to ask my members, and they are thought-provoking questions. They should be quite empowering questions, and they should let you go on a bit of a journey of self-discovery where you can explore how to move forward if you're struggling too. So because there's quite a few, I've made some notes on my phone. So let's start with the first one. So the way I'm going to kind of word these is if you were doing any sort of weight loss program. So not necessarily Slimming World, because not everyone follows me does Slimming World. They might be doing Weight Watchers, they might calorie count, they might follow, I don't know, any other plan that they choose to do. So I want you to think about if you are attending a group, so whatever group you go to, if you are attending a group, when you leave the group, at what point exactly does it start to decline? So you sat in group, you're like, yeah, I'm so motivated, I'm gonna go out and smash it. Say your group is a Thursday, which mine was. As you leave that group on a Thursday night and you get home, exactly when does the decline start? So for me, I'm all right Thursday night because Chris used to have my dinner ready, so I'm fine Thursday night. My decline would probably start now on a Friday morning, because while I'm feeding the boys their breakfast, I'll be sneaking bits of their food in. So that's where my decline starts. That's not where it ends, because there's other habits that are creeping in too. So when does your decline start? Next question. In your week, where do you find it the most difficult to follow whatever you're following? So whether you're food optimizing, whether you're counting points, I don't even know how Weight Watchers works anymore, but if you're counting points or if you're counting calories or whatever, at what point in your week do you find it the most difficult? So for me, it's when I'm feeding the boys. That's it, straight, simple. I do have a little habit where I'm getting dessert and I have my protein bars, and I'll just pick like little bits off the protein bar, and I kind of do that throughout the day, but I'm not really counting sins as such. I'm not counting anything at the moment. My meals, and if I had a pound every time I heard someone say this, my meals are fine, it's all the bits in between. I bet you've said that, haven't you? Yeah. You're nodding, aren't you? So let's have a think about that. So for me, I find it most difficult again when I'm feeding the boys. So we're identifying a bit of a pattern here, aren't we? Are you identifying a bit of a pattern? So it's important to remind yourself of this question, and I have used this question before on my videos. From 1 to 10, how important now is your weight loss to you? So for me, not as important, okay? So years ago when I first started, 10 out of 10, straight 10, wouldn't have even had to think about it. Now, probably only a 5 or a 6, and I think that's the problem. So later on, I might be able to help myself with that. And from 1 to 10, where is your commitment then? So when mine was a 10, my commitment was a 10. Now mine's a 5, my commitment's probably a 5 as well. So if I want things to change, I've got to work on how to move those numbers up. So what can you do to protect yourself? So I know for me that if I'm hungry when I'm feeding them, I am going to want to eat what they're eating. And also, if I do too much food, I hate waste. I've been brought up in one of those families where you shouldn't really waste food, you know, and it's just one of those things that years ago everyone used to do it, before kind of there was this like don't overfeed your kids type you know, advice. Years ago it was like you're not allowed to leave the table until you finish your food, and that was just the way it was. So it's difficult for me to leave food or waste food, so I need to work on my portion control for the boys to help them, maybe cook things for them that I don't like. Tend to like everything, don't think they're going to want to eat pepperonis or black pudding. They're probably the only things I won't eat. So I need to work on that, and possibly I need to have some like fruit or something else ready so I can snack while they're eating, or eat it before I feed them. But because they're the priority, they eat earlier than me, I don't eat my meals at the same time as them, and I won't really be able to do that. So I need to either snack, or I need to just make sure that as soon as it's finished, I spray something all over the food, and then I'm not going to eat it. So that's me saying out loud what I need to do. What do you need to do to protect yourself? So what are your triggers? So are you triggered by an emotion? Are you triggered by tiredness? Are you triggered by your surroundings, so like a petrol station or anything like that? Or have you a food trigger? So let's think about this for myself. So my triggers are, I suppose if I'm tired, I'm a bit weaker. If I'm due on, I'm a bit weaker. And just letting myself get hungry. That's my triggers. As in a food trigger, if I eat something that I perhaps don't eat very often, like birthday cake at the weekend, then yeah, God, I want to eat the whole cake. Crisps possibly as well. I absolutely love crisps. But I don't really have any massive food triggers anymore. Alcohol can be a trigger for people, so once you have a few drinks, does that make you then want to carry on drinking, and then the next day you're screwed because all you want to do is eat through your hangover? So what are your triggers? Are they emotional, or are they food or drink related? So next, think about when you're sat in any of your meetings, your groups, whatever you do, or it might be a PT session and you're committing to something to your personal trainer. When you leave, what happens next? So are you saying things out loud that you've got no intention of doing? Because if they're good girl or good boy answers, no point even saying it. You should only be saying things that you're going to genuinely go and commit to doing. So make sure they're manageable and make sure they fit in with your lifestyle. Now I want you to think back to your best ever week. What were you doing then that you might not be doing now? Okay, so I want to just put like a little asterisk on this though, because I don't want you, like, say you've had an amazing weight loss one week, say you lost 7 pounds one week, but you dieted, you restricted yourself and you were miserable. No, let's not go back to doing that. That's not good. That's not sustainable. It won't make you happy and it's not good for you. So let's go back to one of your best ever weeks where you did well, you had a sensible, good, decent weight loss, but you did it in the proper way. So what were you doing then that you're not doing now? So when I lost my 3 stone, I was so hot on free food, speed food snacks, and I was very good at tracking my sins, very good. I didn't buy anything that was a trigger. I didn't like, when I'd go and like eat out or whatever, I'd always make sure I made sensible choices. I was just very, very, very committed and very driven and very motivated. So what else did I do different? My life is different though, isn't it? So when I started, I was a student and I was in my summer holidays. So I didn't really have loads to do so I could focus on this fully. I'm not able to do that now. So it's thinking about, okay, well, what can I do? If I can't do it how I used to do it, what can I do that's still better than what I'm doing now? So ask yourself those things as well. Are you missing anything? Have you cut something out and you're desperately missing it? Because if you are, you need to find a way of fitting that in. So say you're missing pizza, try and find a healthier version of pizza. Say you're missing chocolate, have chocolate. Where does it say anywhere in the world that if you want to lose weight, you're not allowed to eat chocolate? You can. It's just about keeping it within your calorie deficit. So whatever you follow, Weight Watchers, Slimming World, I don't know, Lean in 15, calorie counting, whatever, they're all based on a calorie deficit, every single one of them. And you can fit in the things that you enjoy. So if you're missing something, that could be, you know, making you struggle as well. Then what is your week looking like? So let's think about next week. What's your week looking like? Are there any challenges that you're facing? I don't know. If so, what are you going to put in place? So say, for example, you were going out at the weekend. That could be a challenging situation. So how are you going to handle that? If your goal is to lose 2 pounds, what are you going to action this week to make sure that you can overcome those hurdles? Then, what situations have been hard for you? So let's look at the past year for me. Situations that are hard for me. It's only really feeding the boys. And I'll tell you what else it is actually, that's not true. I'm also struggling with just the motivation to care about what I eat. So for example, I wake up about 7 AM, 6:45 normally, go down, my priority then is to sort out their breakfast. Then I sort out their lunch, then I sort out their dinner, and then when they're finally in bed and they've been bathed and all of that, I'm then knackered. Half the time I can't be bothered to cook. I really made the effort the last few days, and last night I had the most gorgeous dinner and I really, really enjoyed it. But sometimes I just think, I'm just gonna have an omelette, I'm just gonna have some scrambled egg in the microwave, I'm just gonna just have, I don't know, I don't know, what else do I do when I can't be bothered to cook? Packets of prawns and meat and things like that, and then just eat loads of yogurt. But that's not right, that's not, you know, that's not looking after me. So I need to make sure that, you know, in those situations that I am finding quite hard, I find a solution. So let's think about the solution. So really, slow cookers would be a great solution, wouldn't they? Also going down to Iceland and maybe getting some of the Slimming World meals. Also, batch cooking could be a solution, but I haven't got a great size freezer, so that's a bit tricky. And then just making sure, I think what I need to do, because I've always got away with being a winger, so I can think, right, what do I want to eat, and then I'll just make it like a bit of a ready steady cook thing. I don't have to plan. But I think now, to make my life easier, I'm going to have to sit down and I'm going to have to meal plan their food, but also meal plan ours. And then we're not coming to the fridge and being like, what do we eat? Okay, so that's definitely something I need to do. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a meal planner and I'm going to take some time. So when can I take the time to meal plan? Maybe me and Chris need to sit down like on a Sunday night with a load of recipe books, load of magazines, and then sit down and meal plan. We tend to go shopping on a Monday, so that would work really well. So yes, that's a good idea, Nicola. I like that one. And then what will you do different? I kind of have already summed that up, but what will you do different? And then how do you keep a track of things when you're struggling? So at the moment, I'm not doing food diaries. I'm not tracking anything on an app. I'm not doing anything. I have said that I am going to do those things and I haven't. So I don't know how Weight Watchers works. I don't know if you've got an app you can use to track your points and stuff. With Slimming World, you can sort of do it. You can use a meal planner and you can do it that way. There isn't a facility to actually like scan or track as you go. You can use an app called Slim It, and you can just track like basic sins on there. You can't look up sins, but you can put how many sins you've had and you can track your healthy extras. And then obviously if you calorie count, you've got MyFitnessPal, and there are other apps like that you've got. But for me, like, I haven't got the time to be weighing and measuring everything and counting calories and all of that. It just I have tried in the past when I've been struggling to have a little go at it, and I find it difficult. But everything you do is a calorie deficit, and everything you do is tracking calories. So whether you're counting sins, whether you're counting points, whether you're tracking calories, whatever, it is all a form of tracking. So have a little think, if you're struggling, what are you going to do to keep track of things? And then finally, this is the kind of last question really, is what are your dreams? What are your goals? Why do you want to lose weight? Why is it important to you? Sometimes you need to remind yourself of those things. So my goal, I'm happy as long as I'm fitting into my clothes, which I've bought a lot now that are size 8. So I'll be really annoyed now if I've got rid of like a lot of my clothes that are too big for me. I've bought all these new clothes that are size 8 and then I can't fit in them, or I don't feel comfortable in them. So my goal is to make sure I feel comfortable in my clothes, because I don't have time to be trying on loads of different things. So I need to be able to feel comfortable in my clothes. I prefer to sit in the 9s. Numbers aren't everything. Like, do you look that different if you're 9, 12 or 10 stone? No, probably not. Well, you don't. You probably don't at all. But that's just my kind of like place where I feel at my best. And then my goals are, what else? Have I got anything coming up? My anniversary, it'd be quite nice to feel nice in a nice outfit for my anniversary. I don't have any holidays or anything like that. And then eventually, now they're getting a bit older, I would love to get like a proper fitness routine back as well. And again, I think I fall down on that because I'm not really planning it. Like, I could go when they've gone to bed, but I haven't ever gone at night ever since they've been born in a year. So that's something I need to think about as well. So anyway, I won't make this video any longer than that. Did that help? Were there any questions that you liked the best? Was there anything that you thought, oh my god, yeah, that's what I need to do? You know, this is a sort of how you should be getting when you stay to a group. So whatever group you go to, it's hard because your consultant will have to keep pace, or your leader or whoever, they have to keep pace, and they only have a certain amount of time to get round everyone. But you will benefit from it, honestly. You know I don't do my group anymore, but I'm so for staying to group. And if you don't like your group, like people sometimes say, well, my group's not like that, then that is a real shame, and I'm sorry about that. But find one then that you do. Find someone you do click with. Like, go online, have a look, and go to a different Slimming World meeting, a different Weight Watchers meeting, whatever, and just find one that you do click with, because these sort of questions need to be asked quite regularly when you're struggling. If you're not struggling, they'll just talk to you about food, or they'll just give you loads of praise and say well done, and then you can help other people that are struggling. So yeah, let's have some feedback. Did you like the weight loss video? Did you like talking about those things again? And did it help? Because if it did, I will continue to try and think of more videos in this kind of like subject, if you want me to. So thank you so much for watching, and I will give you an update on how I'm getting on soon. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Don't forget to give it a quick thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.